Fuck off. They're in the world, oh, you're a monster, you're a Nazi, you're a racist, you're a xenophobe. Be kind. Fuck off, be kind. I didn't live 41 years of my life working hard, dragging myself up from a working class family to get where I am, to pay this tax. And my thanks is to be name called, have my car bashed in, groped, mugged, outpriced from the housing market. Fuck off. That's how I feel. That's how a lot of people out there are feeling.
Alex Phillips has just delivered a blistering warning to Keir Starmer, and it's one Labour really didn't want to hear. There was no hedging, no apology, and no polite Westminster language. She cut straight through the usual smears and said out loud what millions of ordinary patriotic Brits have been thinking for years. Enough is enough. This wasn't a scripted moment designed to play it safe. It was raw, confrontational, and unapologetic. In a moment, I'll show you the full clip, but before that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss independent political commentary like this. The kind the mainstream media would rather you didn't see. Watch this.
Pal, he doesn't. This is a speech that was made decades ago, frankly.
And led to violence in our streets. There were racist murders that took place. It had consequences. He was kicked out of the party.
We can find parallels all the time. It's something someone says today and something someone may or may not have said before, and whether or not that was intentional. I just think it's a huge distraction technique, and it adds to what has compacted the whole conversation over immigration.
Calling racism a distraction tactic is highly offensive.
Hold on, I'm not saying racism distraction.
Language,
no, Zara, what I'm saying
is racist.
What I'm saying, it's not racist. How is the language racist?
So saying migrants,
the word migrant is racist.
No, migrants are strangers in a society. We are becoming an island.
But why is that racist? Explain to me what about that is hateful about somebody's color of skin.
Now let's set the scene properly, because this didn't come out of nowhere. For years, ordinary Brits who care about borders, national identity, free speech, and sovereignty have been lazily branded as racists the moment they step outside the approved narrative. Instead of engaging with genuine concerns, the political establishment reaches for the same tired label and hopes that shuts people up. Keir Starmer's Labour has leaned heavily into this tactic, and it's now backfiring. Alex Phillips didn't sugarcoat her response. She went straight at the accusation and made a simple but powerful point. Loving your country does not make you hateful, and pretending it does is dishonest and dangerous. What makes this moment hit so hard is the tone. She didn't sound like a career politician reading from a focus group script. She sounded fed up, frustrated, and unwilling to be talked down to any longer. That's where Starmer's real problem shows. He wants to appear sensible and above the chaos, yet his party keeps defaulting to moral lectures instead of answers. That approach might impress activists, but it doesn't resonate with people dealing with crime, immigration pressure, and the cost of living. Alex Phillips tapped into that anger and gave it a voice, reminding people they don't have to accept being labeled or silenced.
Where there were still jobs, we gave them to other men from other countries because they cost less. So instead, we gave our men benefits. We took their dignity and their ability to provide for their families and replaced it with a handout. We robbed them of all opportunity and also robbed opportunity from their kids too. Their kids who now have kids of their own. We told them they can't make their jokes anymore, not even for light relief. We told them that everything they were once loved for, and indeed that they loved, was now considered thick, racist, and out of touch. Wake up, we yelled. Get with the programme. Get woke, you Neanderthal. You've had it your way for far too long and you messed it up. It's only right that you are now punished. Your relatives enslaved us. You're a patriarchal beast. You fragile, overprivileged moron. Are now cancelled. Nobody like them writes songs anymore. Well, nobody that would get a recording contract. We called them lazy after they had to make a humiliatingly necessary calculation that to provide for their family, maybe even give their loved ones a holiday from their shithole neighbourhood, it was better to not work and claim benefits instead. When they tried to tell us how much they were hurting, using the only words that they had, we called them racist. They didn't get the latest memo from the overpaid London PR consultant about what language was acceptable and which viewpoint was allowed to be held, how to work the ever-changing system to fit in, Of course, they're slow learners. And they also don't have protected status. They're monsters. So they tried at the ballot box to change things. 3 times they voted Conservative because they promised to cut immigration. They backed Brexit. That would put them first for a change. They saw that those in charge who hadn't been listening for decades were finally made to listen. And oh, did they listen. They then did everything in their power to bully and to shame, to silence the voices of those men, to frame them as a threat, to intimidate them and censor them. And so day after day, night after night, they watched their towns change irreparably. They watched people from other countries being given houses and doctor's appointments, so surely it must be their turn next. Surely. These other people were showered with the loving glow of just being wanted. Yes, wanted. But also actively cheered for. Refugees welcome. Black Lives Matter. Who are these people? They didn't get a chance to get to know them because those people didn't learn English. They couldn't find them at the pub, but it must be their fault because they didn't welcome them enough. They didn't understand them enough. That's right, it's because they must be racist. They then saw members of those communities complain still and witnessed superhuman efforts made by people in power to listen to them. And yet, some of them still riot when they don't get their own way. Some of them commit crimes, but when they do, it's not their fault. They just need to be better understood. Those people have been through things that none of us can relate to. They're disenfranchised. They have mental health issues. And it's probably your fault, you lazy, white racist. That, dear friends, that is the story of working class England. And I hope you enjoyed it. You know, some might call it a lived experience, but for those in it, it's an experience barely worth living.
And this is the bigger picture that can't be ignored. This wasn't just a heated exchange or a viral moment. It was a warning. When politicians keep insulting the public instead of listening to them, trust inevitably collapses. People don't want to be managed, lectured, or morally corrected by Westminster. They want honesty, respect, and policies that actually address their concerns. Branding critics as racists isn't leadership, it's avoidance. Alex Phillips drew a clear line in the sand, and the reaction says everything. Supporters called it refreshing, critics called it inflammatory, but nobody ignored it. And that's exactly why moments like this matter. So now I want to hear from you. Was she right to come out swinging like this? Or has Keir Starmer completely lost touch with ordinary British patriots? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more straight-talking political commentary, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next.